It's my journey, it's your journey. You need my help and I need yours. 'Cause we are...
Welcome to Journeys of Faith. Brother Joseph Frey Aldenhoven here. Be sure to click the link in the description for the full article, Our Lady of Czestochowa and Poland's Struggle for Faith and Freedom. In the heart of Poland, nestled within the hallowed walls of the Jasna Gora monastery, rests an icon that has become a beacon of hope, resilience, and unyielding faith for generations of Catholics, Our Lady of Czestochowa. Known as the Black Madonna, this sacred image of the Virgin Mary holding the Christ child is more than just a religious artifact. It's a symbol of Poland's enduring struggle for spiritual and national identity through centuries of war, oppression, and cultural upheaval. For the faithful, she stands as a protector, a mother, and a silent witness to a nation's prayers and tears. At Journeys of Faith, we've long been captivated by the stories of divine intervention and the powerful intercession of Mary, the Mother of God, in the lives of believers across the globe. Founded by Bob and Penny Lord, our mission has always been to illuminate the mysteries of the Catholic faith through accessible education and transformative pilgrimage experiences. From the Eucharistic miracles that defy explanation to the lives of saints who inspire us to holiness, we strive to bring the richness of church history to modern audiences. And few stories resonate as deeply as that of Our Lady of Czestochowa, an icon whose scarred visage tells a tale of suffering and salvation intertwined with the soul of Poland itself. For centuries, the Polish people have turned to the Black Madonna in times of crisis, from the Swedish invasion of the 17th century, known as the Deluge, to the dark days of Nazi occupation and Soviet domination in the 20th. Each scratch on her face, each mark of violence, mirrors the wounds of a nation that has fought to preserve its faith and freedom against staggering odds. Yet through it all, Our Lady of Czestochowa has remained a steadfast source of strength, her image a rallying point for a people who refuse to let their devotion be extinguished. As we explore her story, we invite you to journey with us, whether through the pages of history or the sacred paths of pilgrimage, to uncover the profound ways in which Mary continues to guide and protect her children. This is not just a story of an icon, it's a testament to the unbreakable bond between faith and identity, a narrative that speaks to every Catholic seeking to understand the power of Marian devotion. So let us walk together through the annals of Poland's past, guided by the gentle gaze of Our Lady of Czestochowa, and discover how her presence has shaped a nation's destiny. Origins of the icon, tradition, and legend. Let's dive into the misty, almost mythic roots of the Black Madonna, Our Lady of Czestochowa, an icon that feels like it's been pulled straight out of a sacred saga. Tradition holds that this revered image, housed in the Jasna Gora monastery in Poland, was painted by none other than St. Luke the Evangelist. Yes, the same Luke who penned a gospel is said to have captured the likeness of the Virgin Mary on a wooden panel, possibly from a table made by Jesus himself during his carpenter days in Nazareth. If that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will. The story gets even more layered as it weaves through centuries. Legend tells us the icon traveled a long road, literally and figuratively, before finding its home in Poland. It's said to have been brought to Constantinople by Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, after she discovered the true cross. From there, it journeyed through the hands of royalty and clergy, eventually gifted to Prince Ladislaus of Opole in the 14th century. When the prince faced threats from invaders, he sought a safe haven for the holy image, and in 1382, it was entrusted to the Pauline monks at Jasna Gora. That's when this icon became more than a painting. It became a symbol of protection, a spiritual shield for a nation. But let's not gloss over the scars. The Black Madonna's darkened visage, some say, comes from centuries of candle soot and incense smoke, though others whisper of miraculous transformations tied to divine will. Then there are the slashes on Mary's cheek, two stark cuts that refuse to be painted over, no matter how many restorations are attempted. Tradition claims these wounds were inflicted by Hussite raiders in 1430, a desecration that only deepened the icon's mystique. The tears of the faithful, it's said, flowed as freely as blood that day, cementing Our Lady of Czestochowa as a mother who suffers with her people. These origins aren't just folklore, they're the bedrock of a devotion that has shaped Poland's identity. Every brushstroke of legend, every whispered tale of miracles builds a narrative of faith that's as resilient as the nation itself. Join us on a journey of faith with Journeys of Faith. Hey there, fellow seekers of the divine. If the story of Our Lady of Czestochowa and Poland's unyielding fight for faith and freedom has stirred something in your soul, then let's keep this journey going together. At Journeys of Faith, we're all about diving deep into the mysteries and miracles of our Catholic heritage. Think Eucharistic wonders, the lives of saints, and the powerful intercession of Mother Mary. Inspired by the groundbreaking work of Bob and Penny Lord, we're here to guide you through the sacred stories and pilgrimage sites that shape our faith. Ready to take the next step? Here's how you can connect with us. Explore our media, dive into our books, videos, and programs. Over 25 titles and hundreds of EWTN episodes await, from Eucharistic miracles to saintly tales. Visit Holy Family Mission. Join us in Morrilton, Arkansas for a transformative retreat experience on our 83-acre sanctuary. Deepen your devotion. Follow our resources to uncover more about Marian devotion and Catholic history. Let's walk this path of faith together. Visit our website today and discover how Journeys of Faith can inspire your spiritual adventure. The Jasna Gora Monastery, Fortress of Faith, nestled in the heart of Czestochowa, Poland, the Jasna Gora Monastery stands as more than just a physical structure. It's a living testament to the unyielding spirit of a nation. This sacred hilltop fortress, often called the Bright Mountain, has been the spiritual epicenter of Polish Catholicism for centuries, housing the revered icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa, also known as the Black Madonna. But beyond its ornate walls and towering spires lies a story of resilience, a place where faith has been both a shield and a sword against the tides of history. Picture this. It's 1655 and the Swedish deluge is sweeping across Poland, a brutal campaign to crush the nation under Protestant rule. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth is on its knees, with city after city falling to the invaders. Yet Jasna Gora holds firm. A small band of defenders, monks, nobles, and common folk, stand guard over the monastery, clutching rosaries as tightly as their weapons. Against all odds, they repel the Swedish siege, an event later attributed to the miraculous intercession of Our Lady of Czestochowa. This wasn't just a military victory, it was a defining moment that cemented the Black Madonna as the queen and protector of Poland in the hearts of the faithful. But Jasna Gora's story doesn't end with cannon fire and divine intervention. Fast forward to the 20th century, and the monastery finds itself at the crossroads of new struggles. During World War II, under Nazi occupation, the Polish spirit is tested again. The monastery becomes a clandestine hub of resistance, a place where hope is whispered in secret masses and prayers for liberation. Even as the Iron Curtain falls and communist rule seeks to stamp out religious fervor, Jasna Gora remains defiant. Pilgrims brave harassment and surveillance to kneel before the icon, their faith an act of rebellion against a regime that denies the divine. The scars of these battles aren't just in the history books, they're etched into the very fabric of the place. The icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa herself bears mysterious slashes on her cheek, a reminder of past desecrations and the enduring strength of devotion. The monastery's walls, fortified over centuries, whisper tales of sieges and secret gatherings. Walk through its halls today, and you can't help but feel the weight of those who came before, their prayers echoing through time. Jasna Gora isn't just a pilgrimage site, it's a fortress of faith in every sense. It's where Poland's soul has been forged, a beacon for a people who faced oppression and division, yet refused to let go of their spiritual anchor. Here, the past isn't a distant memory, it's a living force urging every visitor to remember what's worth fighting for. The Swedish deluge and the miraculous defense of 1655. Let's rewind to the 17th century, a time when Poland was caught in a brutal geopolitical vice. The Swedish deluge, A period of relentless invasion between 1655 and 1660 saw the armies of Sweden under King Charles II Gustav sweep across the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth like a plague of iron and fire. Villages burned, cities crumbled, and the very soul of the nation teetered on the edge of annihilation. Amid this chaos, one place stood as a defiant beacon of hope: the Jasna Gora monastery in Czestochowa, home to the sacred icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa. Picture this: November 1655. The monastery, perched on a hill, is more fortress than sanctuary, its walls a patchwork of stone and prayer. Inside, a small garrison of Polish defenders, barely 70 monks and 180 soldiers, brace themselves against an overwhelming Swedish force of over 3,000 troops. The odds are laughably grim, the kind of disparity that would make even the most hardened strategist throw up their hands. But the defenders had something the Swedes couldn't quantify: an unshakable faith in the Black Madonna, the revered image of Our Lady of Czestochowa, believed to be painted by St. Luke himself. The siege was a grueling test of endurance. Cannon fire rained down, shaking the ancient walls while the Swedes taunted the defenders, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. Yet stories from the time speak of inexplicable events: arrows and cannonballs that seemed to veer off course, visions of a lady in white appearing on the ramparts, and an unshakable resolve among the defenders that defied logic. The monks, led by Prior Augustine Kordecki, prayed ceaselessly before the icon, entrusting their fate to the Mother of God. After 40 days of relentless assault, something shifted. On December 27, 1655, the Swedes inexplicably withdrew. Historians still debate the reasons: logistical failures, harsh winter conditions, or mounting losses. But for the Polish faithful, the answer was clear. Our Lady of Czestochowa had interceded. The victory at Jasna Gora became a rallying cry, a spark that ignited resistance across the battered Commonwealth. King John II Casimir, in a solemn vow at Lwów in 1656, declared Mary the Queen of Poland, cementing her role as the nation's spiritual protector. This wasn't just a military win, it was a defining moment in Poland's identity. The miraculous defense of 1655 wove the image of Our Lady of Czestochowa into the very fabric of Polish faith and freedom, a symbol of resilience against impossible odds. Her scarred face, bearing the marks of past desecrations, became a mirror to a nation that refused to break, no matter how fierce the storm. Crown Queen of Poland, royal patronage, and coronations. Dive into the annals of Polish history, and you'll find a tapestry woven with threads of faith and monarchy, where Our Lady of Czestochowa reigns not just as a spiritual icon, but as a crowned sovereign. This isn't just a painting tucked away in a monastery, it's a symbol of a nation's soul, anointed with the weight of royal decrees and sacred ceremonies. In 1656, King John II Casimir Vasa stood before the image at Jasna Gora and did something unprecedented. He declared Our Lady of Czestochowa, the Queen of Poland. This wasn't mere pageantry. Fresh off the brutal Swedish deluge, a war that nearly drowned the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in chaos, the king saw in the Black Madonna a divine protector who had rallied the nation. His vow, known as the Lwów Oath, wasn't just a personal act of devotion, it was a public covenant binding the fate of Poland to her intercession. Picture the scene: a war-torn land, a king on his knees, and a painting believed to bear the brushstrokes of St. Luke himself, now elevated to the status of a national guardian. But the story doesn't stop at a single oath. Fast forward to 1717, and the image received a literal crown, two of them, in fact, for Mary and the Christ child, blessed by Pope Clement XI. This coronation wasn't just a religious ritual, it was a geopolitical statement. Poland, often caught in the crosshairs of empires, was asserting its identity through faith. The crowns, encrusted with jewels, were a tangible sign of divine favor, a reminder to every pilgrim climbing the hill to Jasna Gora that they weren't just venerating an icon, they were paying homage to their queen. These acts of royal patronage and papal recognition layered a profound significance onto the image. Every subsequent coronation, and there have been several, including a recoronation in 1910 after the original crowns were stolen, reinforced this bond. Each ceremony was a renewal of Poland's collective vow, a way of saying, "We are still yours." Even when the nation was partitioned or erased from maps by foreign powers, Our Lady of Czestochowa remained a unifying force, her crowned visage a silent promise of restoration. This isn't ancient history gathering dust in a textbook. The title of Queen of Poland still resonates, a spiritual thread connecting past struggles to present devotion. It's a reminder that faith in Poland's story has never been a private affair. It's a public declaration, a crown placed not just on an image, but on a nation's heart. Artistic features and symbolism of the Black Madonna. Let's dive into the enigmatic allure of the Black Madonna of Czestochowa, an icon that's not just a piece of art, but a spiritual cornerstone for Poland. Housed in the Jasna Gora monastery, this sacred image, also known as Our Lady of Czestochowa, is a Byzantine-style icon traditionally dated to the 14th century, though its origins are shrouded in legend. Some tales even attribute it to St. Luke himself, painting it on a tabletop from the Holy Family's home. Whether you buy into the lore or not, there's no denying the raw power emanating from this depiction of Mary and the Christ child. What strikes you first is the darkened hue of Mary's skin, earning the icon its Black Madonna moniker. This isn't just a quirk of aging or smoke damage from centuries of votive candles, though that's part of it. The deep, almost otherworldly tone is believed by many to symbolize Mary's universal motherhood, transcending race and culture, embracing all of humanity in her sorrowful gaze. Her face, marked by two slashes on her right cheek, tells a story of violence and resilience. Legend has it these scars came from a Hussite raid in 1430, a desecration that couldn't diminish her sanctity. If anything, those marks amplify her connection to Poland's own history of suffering and survival. Then there's the composition itself. Mary holds the infant Jesus on her left arm, her right hand gesturing toward him as if to say, "Look here, this is the way." It's a classic Hodegetria pose, literally, she who shows the way, a style rooted in Byzantine tradition. But there's an intimacy here that cuts through the formalism. Jesus clutches a book, likely representing the Gospels, while his tiny hand blesses the viewer. Mary's eyes, though, are they're the real hook. They're not looking at her son, but straight at you, piercing and mournful, as if she's carrying the weight of every prayer ever whispered before her. The icon's ornate frame and the surrounding votive offerings, crutches, medals, and jewels left by pilgrims add layers of lived devotion to the visual. Her golden halo and the rich robes, often covered by ceremonial dresses gifted by the faithful, speak to her queenship, not just of heaven, but of Poland itself. Every detail, from the six-pointed stars on her mantle to the subtle tilt of her head, feels loaded with meaning, inviting you to linger and unpack centuries of faith. This isn't just a painting, it's a battlefield of history and hope. The Black Madonna stands as a silent witness to Poland's struggles, her image intertwined with the nation's identity as a bastion of Catholic faith against oppression. You can't help but feel the weight of that legacy when you stand before her, whether in person or through the countless reproductions that adorn homes and churches worldwide. Scars on her face, stories behind the icon's wounds. Dive into the weathered visage of Our Lady of Czestochowa, and you'll find a story etched in pain and perseverance, a canvas of faith marked by violence. The Black Madonna, as she's often called due to the darkened hues of her icon, bears two prominent scars on her right cheek, a silent testament to Poland's turbulent history. These aren't mere scratches, they're wounds that bleed history, faith, and defiance. Legend and historical whispers tell us the scars trace back to 1430 during a raid on the Jasna Gora monastery by Hussite forces, radical reformers who saw icons as idolatry. As the story goes, a soldier struck the image with his sword, slashing twice across Mary's face. When he raised his blade for a third blow, he collapsed, struck down by a mysterious force, some say divine intervention. The scars remained unrepaired as a raw reminder of that moment, a symbol of Mary's suffering, mirroring the struggles of the Polish people. They didn't retouch the icon, not out of neglect, but reverence. Those marks became part of her identity, her solidarity with a nation under siege. But the wounds aren't just about one attack. Over centuries, the icon has endured desecration attempts, from Tartar invasions to Swedish occupations during the deluge of the 17th century. Each threat to Jasna Gora, each act of aggression, seemed to carve deeper into the collective soul of Poland, with Our Lady standing as both shield and scarred witness. Some accounts even suggest the scars have bled miraculously during times of national crisis, though the Church remains cautious about such claims. Still, the faithful see in those lines a reflection of their own trials: oppression under foreign rule, the horrors of war, the fight for religious freedom. Look closer, and the scars tell a personal story too. Pilgrims over generations have touched the icon, prayed before it, wept at its feet, seeing in those marks a mother who understands suffering. They're not just historical artifacts; they're a bridge between the divine and the human. A reminder that faith isn't always pristine; it's often battered yet unyielding. The Black Madonna's face, scarred and somber, gazes out with a quiet strength, as if to say, Poland's story and the story of every believer is one of enduring through the cuts of life. Pilgrimages to Czestochowa, walking in prayer and penance. Every year, hundreds of thousands of the faithful converge on the Jasna Gora monastery in Czestochowa, Poland, drawn by a deep, unshakable devotion to Our Lady of Czestochowa. These pilgrimages aren't just trips, they're raw, grueling journeys of the soul, often spanning hundreds of miles on foot through blistering heat or biting cold. Picture this: groups of pilgrims, young and old, trudging along dusty roads, rosaries in hand, their chants and prayers rising into the air like a collective heartbeat. It's not uncommon to see someone barefoot, knees raw from penance, or carrying a heavy cross, literal or metaphorical, as an offering to the Black Madonna. These walks, especially the annual Warsaw to Czestochowa pilgrimage in August, aren't for the faint of heart. Spanning over 150 miles, it takes about 9 days for most groups to complete. Pilgrims sleep in fields or churchyards, eat simple meals of bread and soup provided by local communities, and endure whatever the elements throw at them. Why? Because this isn't tourism. It's a physical manifestation of Poland's history of struggle against oppression, against secularism, against anything that's ever tried to snuff out their faith. Each step is a prayer, each mile a plea for intercession, often tied to personal intentions or national crises. During the communist era, these pilgrimages doubled as acts of defiance, silent protests against the regime that sought to erase God from public life. But it's not all hardship. There's a camaraderie that forms on the road, a sense of shared purpose that binds strangers together. You'll hear stories swapped over campfires, tales of answered prayers, of miracles attributed to Our Lady of Czestochowa, of ancestors who walked this same path under even graver circumstances. And when the spires of Jasna Gora finally come into view, the exhaustion gives way to a kind of holy elation. Pilgrims often fall to their knees, tears streaming, as they approach the icon, believing they're in the presence of a mother who's carried Poland through centuries of darkness. It's a moment that transcends words, a connection to something eternal. Our Lady in the Polish partitions, hope in captivity. Let's rewind to a time when Poland was not just a nation but a battleground for empires, carved up like a feast among hungry neighbors. Between 1772 and 1795, the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth was sliced into oblivion through three brutal partitions by Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Gone was the sovereignty, the borders, the very idea of a free Poland. For over a century, the Polish people lived under foreign yokes, their language suppressed, their culture smothered, and their faith tested. Yet in the heart of this darkness, there was a light that refused to flicker out. Our Lady of Czestochowa, the Black Madonna enshrined in the Jasna Gora monastery, wasn't just an icon during this era. She was a defiant symbol of resistance. While empires redrew maps, the Polish faithful clung to her image as a reminder of who they were: She wasn't locked away in some distant cathedral out of reach. No, she was there in hidden prayer meetings and whispered rosaries under the watchful eyes of occupiers, in the secret masses held in barns and basements. The partitions sought to erase Polish identity, but Our Lady of Czestochowa became the banner under which it endured. Her scarred face, legend says from a Hussite blade in 1430, mirrored the wounds of a nation, yet her gaze promised something more: endurance, hope, a future. During these years of captivity, pilgrimages to Jasna Gora didn't stop, even when they were dangerous. Peasants and nobles alike trekked through occupied lands, risking arrest or worse just to kneel before her. They saw in her not just a painting, but a mother who understood suffering, who had watched her own son endure the unimaginable. In a way, she was Poland itself, battered, scarred, but unbroken. Stories spread of miracles, of answered prayers for strength against oppression, of quiet victories in the face of overwhelming odds. Our Lady of Czestochowa wasn't a passive figure. She was a rallying cry, a spiritual fortress when physical ones had fallen. And this wasn't blind superstition, it was survival. When your language is banned, when your history is rewritten, when your very existence is questioned, you hold on to what can't be taken: faith. And for the Poles, that faith had a face: her face. Through the long night of the partitions, she stood as a testament that no empire, no matter how vast, could conquer the soul of a people who refused to forget who they were. The icon under communist oppression and the rise of solidarity. In the shadow of post-World War II Poland, the Black Madonna of Czestochowa stood as more than a sacred image. She became a silent rebel, a beacon of defiance against the iron grip of communist rule. The regime, hell-bent on stamping out religious fervor, saw the Catholic Church as a direct threat to their atheist ideology. Churches were shuttered, priests harassed, and public displays of faith often met with brutal crackdowns. Yet in the heart of Jasna Gora, Gora Monastery, the icon of Our Lady of remained untouchable, a spiritual fortress that no Soviet decree could breach. The communist authorities tried everything to diminish her influence. They restricted pilgrimages, monitored gatherings, and even attempted to replace devotion to Mary with state-sponsored propaganda. But the Polish people, hardened by centuries of struggle, weren't so easily swayed. They flocked to Czestochowa in secret, whispering prayers under the watchful eyes of informants. The icon, with her scarred visage, seemed to mirror their own wounds, marks of resilience etched into the soul of a nation. And by the late 1970s and early 1980s, the undercurrent of resistance found a new voice in the Solidarity movement, a trade union turned political force that dared to challenge the regime. At the heart of this uprising was an unshakable Catholic identity, and Our Lady of Czestochowa was its unspoken patroness. Workers, students, and clergy alike wore small replicas of the Black Madonna pinned to their chests, a quiet but powerful symbol of their fight for freedom. During strikes and protests, images of the icon were held high, a reminder that their struggle was not just for better wages or rights, but for the very soul of Poland. Lech Wałęsa, the electrician turned leader of Solidarity, openly credited his faith and devotion to Mary for sustaining him through 8 years of persecution. In the shipyards of Gdansk, where the movement was born, prayers to Our Lady of Czestochowa echoed alongside chants for liberty. The regime could tear down banners and arrest dissidents, but they couldn't erase the image of the Black Madonna from the hearts of the people. She was their shield, their rallying cry, a testament to the enduring power of faith in the face of oppression. St. John Paul II's personal devotion to Our Lady of Czestochowa. When you dig into the life of St. John Paul II, you can't escape the profound thread of devotion to Our Lady of Czestochowa woven into his story, a devotion that's as much personal as it is cultural. Born Karol Wojtyla in Wadowice, Poland in 1920, he grew up in a nation where the Black Madonna of Czestochowa wasn't just an icon, but a living symbol of resilience, a spiritual anchor for a people battered by war and oppression. For Wojtyla, she was more than a national emblem. She became a personal guide, a motherly presence he turned to in his darkest hours. As a young man, Karol faced the brutal Nazi occupation of Poland, losing friends and family while working in a quarry and later studying clandestinely for the priesthood. During those harrowing years, he often made pilgrimages to Jasna Gora, the monastery that houses the miraculous image of Our Lady of Czestochowa. It wasn't just a trek for him, it was a lifeline. He'd kneel before the scarred face of the Madonna, those slashes on her cheek, a haunting reminder of Poland's own wounds, and pray for strength for his country, for his own uncertain path. Sources close to his early life recount how he'd spend hours in silent contemplation there, as if drawing directly from her quiet, unyielding fortitude. When he became Pope John Paul II in 1978, the first Polish pontiff in history, his bond with Our Lady of Czestochowa only deepened. He made it a point to visit Jasna Gora during nearly every return to Poland, most notably in 1979 during his first papal pilgrimage. There, before hundreds of thousands of faithful, he entrusted his papacy and his homeland to her protection. He didn't just speak as a leader. His words carried the raw emotion of a son coming home. I consecrate myself to you, Mother of the Church, he prayed, echoing a sentiment that had guided him since his youth. He even credited her intercession for his survival after the 1981 assassination attempt, believing her maternal hand had deflected the bullet meant for his heart. John Paul II's devotion wasn't just ceremonial, it was visceral. He kept a small replica of the Black Madonna in his private chapel at the Vatican, a constant reminder of her presence. Biographers note how he'd often pray before it during moments of crisis, whether grappling with the Cold War's tensions or the internal struggles of the church. For him, Our Lady of Czestochowa wasn't a distant figure. She was a companion, a protector, a mirror of Poland's enduring faith. Her image, with its quiet strength and battle-worn visage, seemed to reflect his own mission, to stand firm in the face of impossible odds, to carry the weight of a suffering world with unwavering trust in God's plan. A lasting legacy of faith and freedom. As we reflect on the profound story of Our Lady of Czestochowa, we're reminded of the unyielding spirit of Poland, a nation that has clung to faith as a lifeline through centuries of struggle. This sacred icon, bearing the scars of history, stands as a testament to the resilience of the Polish people and their unbreakable bond with the Blessed Mother. At Journeys of Faith, we're honored to share these stories, weaving together the threads of devotion and history to inspire the Catholic faithful. Just as Bob and Penny Lord traveled the world to uncover the miracles of the Eucharist and the lives of saints, we invite you to embark on your own pilgrimage, whether through the pages of our books, the programs on EWTN, or a visit to Holy Family Mission in Arkansas. Our Lady of Czestochowa isn't just an image, she's a call to stand firm in faith no matter the odds. Let her story and Poland's enduring fight for freedom ignite a fire in your heart. Join us at Journeys of Faith as we continue to explore the mysteries and miracles of our Catholic heritage, making the past a living guide for today's spiritual journey. Frequently asked questions about Our Lady of Czestochowa. Who is Our Lady of Czestochowa? Our Lady of Czestochowa is a revered icon of the Virgin Mary, venerated by millions of Catholics, especially in Poland, as a symbol of faith, protection, and national identity. Often referred to as the Queen of Poland, she is believed to intercede for the faithful in times of hardship. At Journeys of Faith, we see her as a powerful reminder of Mary's maternal care, a cornerstone of Marian devotion that we strive to share through our educational resources and pilgrimage experiences. Where is the icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa located? The sacred icon resides in the Jasna Gora monastery in Czestochowa, Poland, a spiritual epicenter for Polish Catholics and a destination for pilgrims worldwide. This holy site, perched on a hill, has been a beacon of hope for centuries. Through Journeys of Faith, we encourage believers to explore such pilgrimage sites, connecting with the profound history and spirituality embedded in places like Jasna Gora. Why is the icon sometimes called the Black Madonna? The icon is often called the Black Madonna due to the darkened tones of Mary's face, a result of centuries of exposure to candle smoke, varnish, and the natural aging of the materials. This distinctive appearance adds to the icon's mystique, symbolizing endurance through time and trial. At Journeys of Faith, we delve into these sacred details, helping the faithful appreciate the layers of history behind such holy images. What miracles are associated with Our Lady of Czestochowa? Numerous miracles have been attributed to Our Lady of Czestochowa, including healings, protections during war, and personal conversions. One of the most famous is the defense of Jasna Gora during the Swedish invasion in 1655, where her intercession is believed to have saved the monastery. These stories of divine intervention are at the heart of our mission at Journeys of Faith, as we aim to illuminate the miracles that strengthen Catholic devotion. How old is the icon of Our Lady of Czestochowa? While the exact age is debated, tradition holds that the icon dates back to the 1st century, possibly painted by St. Luke the Evangelist on a tabletop from the Holy Family's home. Most historians, however, place its creation between the 6th and 9th centuries. Regardless of its precise origin, its antiquity speaks to an enduring faith, a theme we explore deeply at Journeys of Faith through our comprehensive Catholic education resources. What is the significance of the scars on the face of the Madonna? The 2 scars on Mary's right cheek are a poignant feature of the icon, believed to have been inflicted during a 15th century attack on Jasna Gora by robbers. Despite attempts to restore the image, the scars remained, symbolizing Christ's suffering and Mary's shared pain. For us at Journeys of Faith, these marks are a reminder of resilience, a story we share to inspire the faithful in their own struggles. How did the icon come to Czestochowa, Poland? Legend tells that the icon traveled through various hands from Jerusalem to Constantinople before being brought to Poland in the 14th century by Prince Ladislaus of Opole. He entrusted it to the Pauline monks at Jasna Gora in 1382, where it has remained a spiritual treasure. At Journeys of Faith, we cherish these historical journeys of sacred relics, connecting modern pilgrims to the past through our media and retreat experiences. Why is Our Lady of Czestochowa important to Polish Catholics? Our Lady of Czestochowa is not just a religious icon, but a national symbol for Polish Catholics, representing their faith, resilience, and cultural identity through centuries of oppression and war. She is seen as a protector of the nation, a bond we at Journeys of Faith honor by sharing her story with a global audience, fostering a deeper understanding of Marian devotion. What role did the icon play during the Swedish invasion of Poland? During the Swedish invasion of 1655, known as the Deluge, the icon was credited with the miraculous defense of Jasna Gora Monastery against a prolonged siege. Polish defenders held firm, inspired by their faith in Our Lady's protection, marking a turning point in the war. This event, often called the Miracle at Czestochowa, is a testament to the power of faith, a narrative we at Journeys of Faith are passionate about preserving and sharing. What prayers are traditionally said before the icon? Pilgrims often pray the Rosary, the Litany of Loreto, and personal petitions before the icon, seeking Mary's intercession for healing, peace, and protection. The Jasna Gora appeals, a daily prayer tradition at the monastery, also unites the faithful in devotion. At Journeys of Faith, we encourage such practices, providing resources to help Catholics deepen their prayer life and connection to Our Lady of Czestochowa. Be sure to click the link in the description for the full article.
It's your journey, but we won't make